You're listening to Hot Topics on Good Mix Radio, hosted by Mike Melody and Sheila Harmony. And each week, they dive into the top trends, pop culture moments, and viral stories dominating the web. They unpack the chaos with humor, sharp takes, and insights you won't find anywhere else.
Okay, let's unpack this. We've just wrapped up a really deep analysis, sort of taking the digital pulse for the second week of October, looking at what people globally were searching, streaming, talking about online.
Yeah, and this wasn't just, scrolling through feeds. The source material we used gives us a real X-ray of content consumption. It uses some pretty technical methods, tracking keyword velocity, engagement metrics, platform popularity regionally.
Yeah.
Stuff like that, basically confirming where the actual energy was focused.
Right. And what the data ended up showing is, well, it's fascinating. It's this really complex cultural landscape defined by four, totally different forces. You've got the sheer power of Taylor Swift's surprise album drop, The Life of a Showgirl. Then there's the annual surge, totally reliable, of Sam and Colby's Paranormal stuff.
Yep, the Halloween effect.
And then NBA 2K26, the guaranteed moneymaker, right? And this artistic breakout game, Ghost of Yōtei.
Exactly. 4 very different things dominating at once. So the mission for this deep dive, for you listening, isn't just listing these off. It's getting into the mechanics behind it. How do these totally different types of content, music, niche video, a huge sports game, and artistic gaming, how do they all win the algorithm battle at the same time? We're really looking at that tension, between the machine's predictability and these organic cultural moments.
Okay, let's start with Taylor Swift then, because honestly, the numbers for The Life of a Showgirl are just staggering. It was that classic surprise drop, wasn't it? Announced October 4th, gave the world zero warning.
Right. And that strategy, it's a calculated risk, but wow, did it pay off. Astronomically. If you just look at the raw technical performance, the album hit over 100 million streams. Day one.
100 million?
Yeah, but the breakdown is maybe even more telling than the total number. Spotify pulled in 50 million streams. Apple Music, 30 million. Amazon Music, 20 million. So It wasn't just one platform. She achieved this really balanced multi-platform domination, instantly.
Okay, 50 million on Spotify alone in 24 hours. That's huge. But, for an artist like her, isn't that kind of expected? Like a baseline. What part of this album's launch really broke new ground? Beyond just hitting big stream numbers.
That's a great point. And that's where you move beyond just streams into what we call cultural velocity. The critical acclaim came immediately, which is pretty unusual for such a fast drop. It got a Metacritic score of 85. That puts it in the universal acclaim bracket.
85, wow.
Yeah. So that means the quality actually matched the hype. It validated the whole surprise thing. It told the public, essentially, that the rush wasn't just clever marketing. The product was solid.
And the production team involved Jack Antonoff, Aaron Dessner. Their names signal a certain kind of sound, don't they? We're talking that blend of intense storytelling, but with really sophisticated melodies.
Exactly. The source material we looked at really highlights that thematic depth. So it's using the showgirl idea as this really powerful metaphor. It's about identity, fame, personal growth. All those pressures bound up in being a performer. It's a pretty dense concept, actually. And that feeds straight into the fan infrastructure.
Ah, right. The Swiftie engine, you use that phrase a lot. Maybe for listeners, can we just define that quickly? What does that self-sustaining network actually mean when we talk about market dominance?
Absolutely. So the Swiftie engine, think of it as this decentralized, immediate interpretation and, crucially, promotion network. It's not just fans listening passively. It's fans instantly creating art, writing fan fiction, analyzing lyrics, using specific hashtags.
So they become part of the marketing machine themselves.
Precisely. It's not just organic buzz. It's like immediate promotional labor that amplifies the album everywhere, deep corners of the internet included. The data showed, 1 million tweets in the first hour?
1 million, yeah.
And 10 million Instagram likes in 24 hours. That's the engine generating cultural velocity, not just streaming volume. It's different.
Got it. So she drops the album out of nowhere. The critics love it. The quality's there. And the fan engine just kicks into high gear immediately, turns the product into this huge cultural conversation, driving everything from merch sales to wild speculation about the next tour. It's really planned chaos, masterfully done.
And it cleverly connects her success to that natural autumn spike in music consumption. Creates this perfect storm strategically for dominating the cultural conversation.
Okay, so while Swift used that planned chaos, that surprise, Others find success through almost the opposite, radical predictability. Let's shift gears completely. Let's talk Sam and Colby. They exploit these really reliable seasonal patterns.
Yeah, exactly. We call the Halloween effect, it's clockwork. October is this guaranteed spike point every single year. The demand for paranormal, horror, mystery content, it just goes up. It's reliable. And creators like Sam and Colby, who are, frankly, dominant in that niche.
They're huge in that space.
They are. They simply ramp up production. They strategically scheduled their big series like Beyond the Veil this year. High-quality stuff.
So this isn't just luck or coincidence. This is basically platform exploitation, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. It's strategic. Content algorithms, they prioritize seasonal topics. So by focusing their high-production paranormal videos right when the audience is already looking for it, Sam and Colby maximize their visibility. They just ride that algorithmic wave. They're not chasing some new trend. They're perfectly catering to a predictable, established need.
And the data backs this up. It shows it works for growth, not just a one-month bump in October.
Yes, definitely. Their main audience, that really desirable 18 to 35 demographic. And their commitment to quality, their consistency, it shows. They have a 20% year-over-year growth rate.
20%, wow.
Which proves that even a niche appeal, if you time it perfectly and execute it well, can build into mainstream influence and sustained audience growth. They're kind of proof that predictability, done brilliantly, can still win.
Okay, so if Sam and Colby represent that optimized niche strategy, let's pivot to gaming. Because gaming this week gives us this fascinating contrast. Two different winning models. You've got the massive franchise built on that seasonal predictability, and then this surprise cultural hit.
Right. Let's start with the predictable one, the powerhouse, NBA 2K26. This one's less about finding a trend and more about aligning with a known cycle. It's October release. Perfectly timed, it rides that massive wave of excitement around the start of the actual NBA season.
So it piggybacks on real-world sports enthusiasm. Makes sense. And the buzz this year wasn't just, oh, the new 2K is out. It was about the tech upgrades, yeah. We're talking next-gen stuff, better graphics, more realistic player movement.
Advanced AI, yeah. And those new shooting systems everyone was debating.
Right, always controversial.
Always. But what's really crucial for 2K26's success, I think, is how it nurtures its competitive community. The positive buzz wasn't just about launch day. It was about the commitment to regular patches, balancing gameplay.
Keeping the series players happy.
Exactly. And then there's the deep integration with esports. Tournament announcements. That drives engagement at the highest competitive level. It's like a perpetual motion machine, fueled by the pro sports calendar itself.
Okay, so 2K26 is the reliable giant. Guaranteed success by linking up with the huge existing sports interest. But let's look at the flip side this week. Ghost of Yōtei. This game had none of that built-in advantage, no established franchise, yet it broke through. Big time.
Ghost of Yōtei is a perfect case study of what we sometimes call high cultural density content. It broke out purely on its aesthetic and narrative strength. It's deeply rooted in Japanese folklore, myths, legends.
The sources we looked at couldn't stop praising the visual style, a really stunning take on feudal Japan.
Absolutely stunning. The visual design, and importantly, the immersive audio, especially the soundtrack. Using traditional Japanese instruments, it created this immediate emotional connection. People thought it wasn't just another game, it was an experience. And that cultural resonance drove incredible organic amplification, word of mouth.
Let's talk metrics here, because they tell a very different story than 2K's predictable sales figures.
Yeah, for a new title, the engagement numbers are explosive. Over 1 million tweets in the first week. That's impressive on its own. But maybe even more telling, a 300% increase in social media followers for the game's official channels.
300%.
Yeah, that specific spike, that 300% jump, that's a key technical indicator of a true breakout hit. It shows people weren't just talking about it, they were actively seeking out the source, following the creators, because the game genuinely inspired them.
And that richness, that aesthetic depth, it translated directly into fan creativity, right? Artwork, fan theories, cosplay.
All of it. It just confirms that if your narrative, your visuals are compelling enough to spark genuine creativity in your audience, you can achieve massive organic success. You don't necessarily need to be tied to a huge existing franchise.
Okay, fascinating stuff. Let's zoom out then. Let's try and synthesize these 4 huge, very different trends. What does this deep dive into the cultural pulse of mid-October really tell us about the audience, about what's capturing attention right now?
Well, I think it tells us the contemporary audience isn't one single thing. It's not monolithic. People consume content across really diverse, sometimes contradictory paths, The cultural landscape right now seems defined by this ongoing clash, or maybe interplay, between highly sophisticated planned strategies like Swift's surprise drop, the seasonal timing of Sam and Colby, the sports alignment of 2K, and then these unpredictable organic breakthroughs like Ghost of Yōtei that are powered purely by cultural resonance. Both work.
And we saw some specific demographic differences in how these played out, too.
Correct. The data really confirms that. The younger audiences,
Yeah.
they're primarily driving the engagement around Swift, especially the TikTok challenges associated with her music. The older demographic, maybe predictably, shows higher engagement with the stable annual release like NBA 2K26.
And even the paranormal content, you mentioned it's regional.
Yeah, that surge for Sam and Colby, while it's national, it definitely peaks disproportionately in regions that already have a strong cultural interest in horror, mystery genres, which is just a good reminder for content creators, you know. Even seasonal predictability needs a bit of regional awareness or tuning.
Okay, so what then? What's the big takeaway from looking at all this data together?
The significance, I think, is that multiple, even opposing paths to success are valid right now, simultaneously. You can win by commanding global attention through perfectly planned surprise, like Swift. You can win by flawlessly serving a predictable seasonal need, like Sam and Colby. You can win by aligning with a massive existing interest, like NBA 2K. Or you can win by creating something so aesthetically rich, so culturally dense like Ghost of Yōtei, that the audience itself feels compelled to amplify it for you. These four trends together, they really show us exactly where the digital audience is spending its time, its attention, and its money.
Yeah, it's been a really fascinating look into the strategies defining content success right now. We saw that precision timing, whether it's tied to a huge sports season like the NBA or that calculated surprise from Taylor Swift, is incredibly powerful. And yeah, seasonal content like the Halloween effect with Sam and Colby, it's just a reliable factor you can count on.
But then, like you said, the Ghost of Yōtei's success story reminds us that pure cultural resonance, beautiful art direction, those are still incredibly potent forces. They can generate organic buzz that even the most meticulously planned big-budget launches might struggle to actually match in terms of genuine excitement.
Right. So that leaves us with a final thought for you, the listener, to chew on as you finish this deep dive. Given the huge success we saw with the surprise drop strategy from Swift and that dependable annual seasonal strategy from Sam and Colby, how do you think content creators across all platforms really are going to evolve their long-term planning? Are we heading towards a future where every major launch is either perfectly timed to some calendar event or maybe hidden right up until the very last second, basically trying to outsmart or beat algorithmic predictability altogether?
A good question. We'll leave that one hanging in the air for now. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into the digital pulse.
Yeah, thanks everyone. We'll catch you next time.